What's going on, guys? This is Demian from the Lookout, and I am here with my newest Fusion World tier list post-Banlist update. Because TOPku is just kinda dead, and the red color is, well, you will see. So it's time to make a Banlist update. But before we begin, three important things. First off, if you wish to compete at really big events, there's gonna be one in UK, 512 players cap Fusion World event on the 24th of August. And guys, if you wish to buy tickets for this one, just scan the QR code or use our affiliate link in the description below. We will be streaming this one, and it will be set free legal unless random delays happen. It will be set free legal. So yeah, if you wanna test out the meta with black color and everything on a competitive level, that's the best place to be at. And guys, of course, we give away codes at every single Fusion World video. All you got to do is be a subscriber, like the video, and leave a comment, and then at the end of the next Fusion World video, I'm gonna show you the lucky winner. And of course, a huge shout out to the Coffee Club, our lovely patrons. These are our $2 and up patrons. They buy us coffee. They keep this crazy content grind going. And guys, thanks a lot for support. If you wish to join the Coffee Club, link to a Patreon is in the description below. And now I think that's about everything. Roll the video. Okay guys, let's start. So as always, here's the tier list. Tier 0 OP should be banned and nothing goes here. Tier 1 meta defining the best decks in the meta, the decks that will warp the meta around them. They will win the most events and stuff like that. Tier 2 competitive, the second best choice. They will be topping a lot. They will be present on a lot of breakdowns, at a lot of top 16s, just not in the quantity of tier 1 decks. Like, they can't really compete for the tier 1 spot, but they are very, very close. Tier 3 rogue decks, your oddball top 16 deck. Like your weird choice that showed up out of nowhere. That's basically tier 3. Like, they can top, but it's really difficult. Tier 4 locals will pretend that locals exist. So you can say like this is like casual. It's like the digital client tier or something. Tier 5 is trash, pretty self-explanatory. And tier 6 is the TOPku token tier. Now, let's just go over a couple of things. We're looking at the decks on a competitive level. I don't care for digital client results at all. Like, digital client matchmaker has been fucked beyond belief because of the season 1. So, no, that doesn't matter. Hey, I can win against random on God rank with Goku Black, doesn't count at all. Other than that, we currently don't have any real data. At least we won't until July when it comes to post-Banlist, so a lot of this is speculation, of course. So, let's start. Okay, let's start with 7ku. Okay, Red has been gutted pretty much completely, though. However, let's just do it like this. Please bear with me just for a second. I think this is kind of the better way to do things. There, so that it's easier to follow what I'm talking about. Anyway, Red has been gutted, just kind of really gutted, mostly due to losing Roshi than to losing Kefline Ribrian. In a way, okay, so in a way where certain decks care more for Roshi than having Ribrian. Okay, like Beerus would like Roshi. U7 really wants Roshi. So the hit to slow down TOPku kinda hit everything else as well. And U7 is one of these victims. So unfortunately, you lose your turn 1 Self-Awakener, then you need to rely on Hit and or Caulifla on turn 2. On turn 3, luckily you have the Gohan now, which is a really good card. Your Awakening has been slowed down significantly. and that's gonna hurt the deck quite a lot. The deck wasn't really good in the past. It wasn't really good. We've barely seen it. But now it's even kind of worse without Roshi. However, it would be disingenuous of me to just not acknowledge some buffs that the deck has. So one really big one, is the Freezer 1-drop, which is 25k, which is going to matter going into a meta where Broly is going to be really, really good again. So that's a positive. You have 1-drops now which can contest Broly and can contest Zamasu, but yeah, Zamasu. Anyway, so taking all of this into consideration, right? With the Kefla limit, you don't lose that much. I don't think you would be running 4 copies like normally. You probably would, but still, like limit 1, that's fine. Rebri and Band, that doesn't touch you at all. It's just Roshi. That's a big problem here. So, where do we put this one? Well, it got a bit of a bump with Frieza, right? You're not gonna run the TN card probably, but it did get a little bit of a buff with Frieza, with the new Gohan SR. Those two are very good for the deck. However, it did kind of lose Roshi as well. So you will be awakening a bit later. Your awakening won't be as consistent, but sometimes you can just steamroll your opponent. And that's pretty cool. However, I don't think that this is going to be a competitive deck. I think that this one is... I think that it's still going to remain in the rogue tier. I think it's still going to remain here. For me, I kind of look at it like this. Okay, some of you might now be like, this is bullshit. Okay, listen. This deck wasn't really a competitive deck in the first season. Like, it didn't really do that much when it came to like really big regional events outside of Japan, and I don't count those. So now it just kind of lost more than it got. It got some new tools, but it also lost, and so it kind of equals itself, especially when none of the decks which existed in set 1 lost anything outside of red. None of them lost anything. So, you know, it just kind of stays where it was in the past. Now let's talk about what is this next leader. That is oh yeah, that's Copium. Now let's talk about Copium. So, here's the thing. Beerus was amazing. Like, Beerus was the second best deck in the meta before the entire Kefla thing happened, right? The Kefla and Roshi thing before that happened. I don't recall how many re-brains were played in this one, but this was a very, very good meta pick because it could fight TOPku very well, and it was basically TOPku, right? However, with Kefla limit, it loses a lot of power. By default, it loses a lot of power, right? We can't argue that it doesn't. Roshi, though, Roshi really hurts. Like, the loss of Roshi really, really hurts Beerus. And I don't think that without being able to awaken as fast as he could before, and with Roshi gone, with Kefla being limited and taking a lot of power away from Beerus, I don't think this deck is good anymore. No, you might be like, oh, you're insane. Well, yeah, Beerus was good because Beerus basically played TOPku. Like, you're delusional if you think that these two decks were different. Like, they had like 4 different cards in them, and that's it. So with the majority of those gone, and with your best Self-Awakener gone, you're just kinda now meh. So I say Beerus goes into the same tier as U7ku is. I'm sorry if I'm a bit... I'm sick. So anyway, Beerus, yeah, I don't think he's gonna be doing that much. Think of it, okay, let's think of it the same way that we looked at 7ku, right? It gained some and it lost more. Like, while its competitors didn't lose. That's the thing. So it gained some things, but it lost more, while the decks which he struggled against in set 1, for example, they just gained more. Everything gained more. So you know, it kind of doesn't work like that. So Beerus goes into Rogue as well. And like I've said, I don't care for digital client results at all. Next, we have Trunks. Okay, so let's talk about Trunks here. 1 second, let's talk about bad. Okay. Trunks has never accomplished anything. That is true. The deck has never accomplished anything. I think there was maybe one of them at some random event. I think there was maybe one of them in the top 16. He did gain a lot of cool toys. The Vegito, the Free Coast Vegito is pretty cool in this deck, especially because like you can bounce him, you can play him again, you can minus things again. That's pretty cool. There is the 1-cost Goten that's really cool in this deck. You still have the Pilaf loop. So now you have the SCR as well. You have some more control tools going later into the game. But it's when it comes to blue decks, it's still probably the weakest one. I don't think that it is the weakest one, but it's still pretty low on the totem pole. Now, would I really say that Trunks is so bad that you just shove him into locals tier? Like, locals don't exist. Play free play on digital client tier. I think blue is good enough. For Trunks to be at least rogue. Like, maybe it's gonna be rogue. It's like very, very big man. And this is me being really, really generous at the moment. I'm really being generous now. Maybe he's gonna be rogue. So let's just kind of put him here. And then I'll see you later. Next we have the droids. We have the big scary robots. So androids gained a lot. Like this one really, really gained a lot. It has an amazing ramp card. It ramps energy like crazy now. You get to your awakened 30k permanent much faster. You can dish out more pressure with the new droid cards. You have this really not competitive but funny thing with Android 20 when you just kind of restand things. You get to 6 energies faster, allowing you to go into your boss monster faster. You ramp enough to be able to play Broly earlier consistently. Maybe you can play Cell if you really want to do so. Anyway, droids are, you know, how I went over the red decks and I said that they just lost, droids gained. This deck really, really gained a lot. It didn't lose anything. When it comes to its matchups, I think 30k on offense is gonna be very significant. Defensive, you're still 20k. You will still struggle a bit in the late game, but you do have a solid amount of 10k combo power cards now, which is really, really good. So he's not the most defensive. He's less defensive than Gohan or Broly are. Like, the deck is just less defensive than that. And less defensive than Cell is. But it's got gas now. It's really got gas now. So I do think that droids are good enough to go into tier 2. Spoiler alert, all green decks are at least tier 2. Then we have Goku Black. Goku Black, I think, is... Actually, you know what? I'm gonna slap Trunks here. I kind of feel bad looking at him over here. I don't think the deck is that good. Goku Black. Okay, let me just change the picture so that for the YouTube crowd which skip parts of the video, that it's easier for them to follow. This one gained a lot. Like, this one really gained a lot lately. The new Goku Black cards are cool. Now you have a way to get rid of some of Frieza's blockers or blockers from other decks. That's nice. The new Zamasu SR helps out a lot. So the deck gained a lot of power. It really gained a lot of power. The Zamasu SR is something that should have existed in set 1. You have Zeno for late game. You still have your 6 drop to cheat out things. Yeah, you will maybe struggle a bit with Awakening, but if you wish to awaken earlier, you have Mai as well. I think this deck is really good. I think that it's better than Trunks is. I really think that it's better than Trunks is. Now, is it gonna be a rogue deck? That's a difficult one to answer. I think that it still needs a bit more to really be rogue. I think it still needs like just a bit more. Going into the next meta, I think that he's just gonna get bodied by green anyway. That he's just gonna get bodied by green. Red is now gone basically, so you're okay with that. Yellow is not that much of a hard matchup as it was earlier, because now you can bottom deck some of their early game things, so that's cool. But I think that it's just gonna get bodied by green. So where would we put this one? It does have a cool thing. It has some of those when KO'd something happens cards, which is good specifically against green. That's very cool, like the new Zamasu, for example. If you wish to run that one, when he gets KO'd, he comes back and green can only KO things. That's really, really good. But other than that, would I call him rogue necessarily? I think if you take this one to an event, can you top with it in a room filled with green decks? I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. I think the deck did gain a lot, so I would say that we can put him, let's be generous. Let's put him here. I'm feeling generous today. Gohan didn't gain anything, didn't really lose anything. Other decks gained some more aggro, like U7 gained some more aggro, which is cool, which is going to cause Gohan to struggle a bit more. Other than that, the deck is still, Gohan is still Gohan, and that's it. He's gonna still fold to yellow aggro, he's still gonna fold to red aggro. Blue aggro doesn't really exist. He's gonna struggle a bit more versus yellow, because yellow is really good at the moment. Like, it's not super tier 1 stuff yellow, but it is pretty decent at the moment. So where do we slam Gohan? I think Gohan is still gonna be tier 2. Like I've said, all green decks are at least tier 2 now. Then we have trash. So Ginyu. Okay. I don't think this deck is good at all. I think this is closest to the tier 5 that we have. Like, I think that this is just plain bad. Yeah, you might be an expert Ginyu pilot. You might, but one person, 2 people playing a Ginyu flawlessly doesn't prove anything. It's way too low of a sample to actually impact the meta. I think this was one of the worst decks in set 1, and nothing has changed for it in set 2 other than other decks having more tools to deal with it. So Ginyu goes into locals as well. Then we have the big scary. The big scary. Yeah, this is just me being a bit cheeky now. Like the deck that kind of, hey, this is good, and then it proceeded to really do nothing at some point. Cooler has no good tool, has no new tools at all. All of his matchups are still gonna be the same. He's just gonna struggle more. He's just gonna struggle more versus some decks. So for Cooler, like not much has changed. It's still bad. I don't believe that any deck is like really, really trash. But I think Cooler just kind of goes here as well. Cooler is the close to the worst deck that we have. He's very close, along with Ginyu. Next, let me see what's next. Oh, okay, finally. Zamasu. Out of all blue decks, this is probably the second best one. Out of all blue decks. He's gonna get hard-bodied by green. Like, green is going to ruin Zamasu's day. Like, the reason why Zamasu performed as well as it did before the ban list was because Zamasu had an amazing matchup into TOPku. Amazing. 60%. That's still good enough to bring Zamasu to an event. But Zamasu really struggles against green. You can't do much against green. And green wasn't present because green struggled versus TOPku. So now that Zamasu is, still here and TOPku and red almost in its entirety are gone, now Zamasu needs to contend with the best color in the game, which is green, and he's gonna struggle doing that. He's really gonna struggle doing that. So, can he have a positive matchup into other colors? He still has a very decent matchup into blue. He has an okay matchup into yellow as well. Green is really, really the worst one. He's very good into red. So, would you consider Zamasu competitive? Now that green's gonna be the best color? I am not so sure. I think that his matchups into red are okay, but that's not enough to really change the tier, right? He's 25k, that's awesome. He can fight back some things, he can fight some blue decks, that's great as well. The longer the game goes, the happier Zamasu is, but the games won't really go long. Versus green, they're not gonna go long. So, and with the ramp that androids have, just going to the double striker and hit Zamasu over and over again. Same with Broly, same with Cell, who just restores lives and then beats you. I don't think this deck is gonna be able to compete. I think if red is ever better, I think Zamasu will get better. But I don't think that this deck can compete anymore. Then we have Cell. This is gonna be... I think Zamasu will still be able to top here and there. That's why I'm putting him into Rogue. Cell is... Cell's pretty cool. I think when it comes to all green decks, he's my second favorite one. Maybe my first favorite one. Trash Gobbler Cell is awful. Don't play that one. That one is just shit. No one should play that. But other than that, I think it's cool. It ramps a lot. It has the gimmick where he heals himself with the SR. He has the gimmick where he can just chain SRs. You can go, you can play the Cell Games Arena, and then when you blow your energy up with the SR, you go to 5, activate main, you go to 6, activate main of Arena, you go to 7 next turn, you go into the SR. Like, Cell is really, really strong. I think he has a good matchup into everything. He has about the same matchup as anything else in green. So he has more defensive tools, but in a different way. For example, Gohan can kill an energy to buff himself, while Cell plays the SR to gain a life back. Droids are the ones which have the least defensive tools, but they can play DSR if they want to. So he's not as defensive as Broly is, of course. He might not be as defensive as Gohan, depending on the situation, of course. But the SR is amazing. The ramp is phenomenal. The ramp in this deck is absurd. The Cell Jr., which can just get you back your Gigantic Meteor or your Kamehameha or whatever you need, is amazing. So I think this one is tier 2 as well. Then we reach starter Goku. Once again, not the best. Lost a lot. It was already on back foot. I think it was Jordan Markle who topped with it. So huge shout out to you. During the set 1 only meta. But now without Roshi and stuff, I don't think this one is good anymore. I think he goes to like the digital client tier as well. I think he's not even Rogue anymore, he's just kinda here now. Okay, not much to talk about that one. Then we have TOPku. Okay, we have Copium number 2. Alright. When it comes to TOPku, well, this deck is basically dead now. Yes, you can play some Tournament of Power cards. Yes, you still have one Kefla, you have Kato Pesla, you have Gohan, you lost Ribrian, you're now gonna struggle closing the game with a double striker. You lost Roshi, you're gonna struggle going down. You need to go to 3 lives to awaken. That's not gonna be super easy. This deck is just no. This deck is, I think it's trash. I think this is the worst one by far. But I don't want to put anything into trash. I'm gonna put him like here as well. Like play him on the digital client. He's the digital client tier deck. Then we have. No, we're going fast through these. This is awesome. We have Vegeta. I did read some comments. I did read some predictions that this Vegeta is gonna be the next best yellow deck. No, it's not. And the reason why is he doesn't really do anything that he hasn't done before the TOPku thing, right? And even the things that he did aren't really that good. Like, what do you have? You have the Whis extra card, and you have the 25k extra card. And that's kind of it. That's everything you have. Other than that, you just get outshined by Frieza, for example. So I don't think that this deck is good. I don't think that it's good at the moment. It's gonna be the best deck in the game in like 6 sets. It's gonna be the best deck in the game. Trust me. But at the moment, I don't think that he's even Rogue. However, I'm going to put him into Rogue because I think that he is infinitely better than whatever Cooler or Ginyu are. So I might not see something, but I think that he is at least Rogue. Like he's at least here. Let's actually put these ones into trash. Fuck them. Like this is trash, and yeah, you just kind of do it like this. Okay, awesome. Then we have... We are approaching the end. What's next? Next is Broly. The big scary broccoli man. Right. So, Broly was objectively the best deck in set 1. Like, this is not me like saying, oh, this deck is because it's good on digital client or it like won some things here. It was always between Broly and between Gohan. And when it really came to big NA events, to like events where some of the best players in the world are competing, same as in Oceania, same as in some other regions outside of Asia, Broly just ruffle stomped. But it wasn't even close. Broly did things to the metagame breakdowns that TOPku did. Like, not to that degree, but he took like a very, very big chunk of the pie chart. Broly hasn't lost anything. If anything, he gained like a little bit of stuff. You can be cheeky and run Senzu Bean. I'm not telling you to run Senzu Bean in Broly, but you can be cheeky and do that as well. You have some extra combo power cards. You can run the Gohan Double Strike if you really wish to do so, because it's super easy to set up. But with the metagame basically devolving into what set 1 was, trust me, the game hasn't changed enough for it to evolve into anything more than set 1. Broly just by default becomes the best deck in the game again. It becomes the best deck in the game. And that's it. Even 7ku. If Roshi nerf didn't happen, 7ku would probably push Broly out. Probably. And this deck was already beating Broly. But Red really got gutted. Blue can't do shit to Broly. Blue just can't. Not even Zamasu. Zamasu can't do shit to Broly. There is a blue deck which can. And that's the next one that we're going to be talking about. And rejoice, Vegeta fans. Because Vegeta is the best blue deck in the game. Like, Vegeta is insane. You can build him control, you can build him mid-range, you can build him aggro. He has all the tools that he needs to punch through Broly. He has all the tools that he needs to punch through Green. He has some of these new cards like Bulma, which help him establish a massive leader swing, which basically guarantees damage. Like, the new control tools in blue, if you wish to run that version of Vegeta, are good enough to help the deck fight off some of threats that gave him a hard time in the past. He has the best matchup into Green, which out of all blue decks, he has the best. So I think that Vegeta is by far the best blue deck in the game. There's so many ways to build this one. He's viable whichever route you decide to take. He has enough power to punch big decks. He still struggles a bit with hand size, but that also depends on how you play Vegeta. Now, thankfully, because of some of the new cards, he can become big without having to resort to using his activate main ability and just dump hand size. So Vegeta, definitely. Vegeta is tier 1. He's gonna go here. He is able to fight Broly on equal footing. And Broly is the best deck in the format. And then finally we have Frieza. Rejoice Frieza fans. Frieza is the best yellow deck in the format. No, it's not Vegeta, it is Frieza. Now we're just looking at, is Frieza strong enough to fight off 4 green decks? That's the big thing. Like, is Frieza strong enough to fight off 4 green decks? With droids being super strong now, with Gohan being crazy, with Cell having removal as well. Frieza now has the 6 drop, which is really cool. He has the SER, which can help him if Green breaks horribly. Frieza can clap back with the SER. He has the Vegeta SR, which is amazing. He has the Goku, I think that's an SR as well, which is pretty cool. He has Bulma to help him awaken faster. I think Frieza, he still has Ginyu Toads if you wish to go with heavy control and just draw a lot of cards. You still have all of the tools from set 1, the big 40k guys, the coolers. I think this deck just gained more. I think this deck is gonna be tier 1 again. So, there we go. Okay. This is basically what I believe it will look like. And I think that this is fine. I don't think that, like, let me see. Tier 1 is okay. Tier 2, completely fine. Nothing wrong really here. Tier 3, when it comes to rogue decks, I think they are okay. All of them. Yeah, normally I would put 7ku here. But the Roshi thing. So I won't. Tier 4, it's tier 4. And then trash is trash. Arguably, you can put Vegeta here, because he plays the same tools as Frieza does. But is he gonna be as good as Frieza? I don't really think so. But I think he's gonna be better than Rogue. He's gonna be experimented with at least. He's gonna be at least experimented with. But is he gonna be able to top consistently? I don't think so. I think he's just gonna be Rogue, and these ones are gonna be topping like crazy. These ones are gonna be doing stuff here and there. So yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, anyways, that was the tier list. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below, what is your Fusion World tier list? What do you think is gonna be good? What do you think it's gonna be bad? What do you think is gonna be the next meta deck? Let me know in the comments. I read all of your comments. I try to respond to everything. I love our little community. And huge congratulations to the winner of the last video's giveaway. Congrats. Reach out to me either through Facebook or through Discord. My tag is in the description below, and everyone else, you have another chance to win digital pack codes. And guys, while you're here, share the video. It helps out other players. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. Help us get to 6k subs when I'm gonna give away a box of codes. This has been Demian from the Lookout, and I'll see all of you in the next video.